with the fighter's voice.
My name is Andre Ward.
Knocking out the competition.
Fighter's voice.
The fighter's voice.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're live here with the ferocious one, Fernando Vargas. And joining us shortly is going to be, I don't even know where to start with this guy. I could say his twin. I could say his clone. I mean, he even walks like him, talks like him. He fights a little different with that southpaw stance, and we're waiting for Fernando Vargas Jr. I say it like that because if you watch his Instagram, the whole family, the brothers come from a fight family, and they're just hilarious. They're funny. They're on the spot, and they're a loving, real family. And actually, I'm surprised that Hollywood hasn't contacted them and say, hey, let's do a surreal show 24/7 and call it the Vargas Boxing Brothers or something to that effect. Hey, welcome to the show, Fernando.
Thank you. I'm waiting for Junior to get on.
No, right on. We'll rock and roll whenever Junior joins us. We'll stop what we're doing and give the attention where it needs to be. And when you win by knockout and you got the red carpet laid out for you, you can show up fashionably late. You know what I mean? I mean, there's certain things that you work real hard for.
Yeah, well, you just got to make sure you can't do it all the time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, those are some of the questionnaires that have been coming in, Fernando, on how Pops is going to show him the ropes from day one.
Hold on.
Okay, we got you. We'll blame it on the COVID.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother. There we are. There we are.
So what was that? What did you say? Because you can barely hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I said, and once Junior comes in, we'll jump right into it. And I said we'll blame the technical difficulties under this coronavirus. You know.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, we're on time. But Fernando, I'll just jump right into it, man. Let's talk about your career, man. I mean, when I first met you in Fresno, California, I gave you a man hug. I go, hey, how you doing? And I described it. I said, bro, I'm not lying to you. It was like hugging a brick wall. I said, man, this dude is freaking solid, man. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Growing up in the Vadio, growing up in your area of Oxnard, I mean, what got you into boxing? Because you're just one of those bad dudes that just used all his gifts, stood disciplined, not only made the Olympics, but became a world champion, man. Talk to us from day one.
I didn't grow up in the hood. I grew up in College Estates and in Oxnard, California, but I was in the hood every day in Colonia because I wanted to box. So I would walk from the good side, from the south side to the west, to the east side. And so it took me 1 hour to walk 3 miles as a 12-year-old kid, but I did it every day. Nothing was going to stop me. My life changed when I started boxing. I started, because I was already locked up as a juvenile, at 12 years old, I was already locked up in juvenile hall, hundreds of hours for community service for batteries and thefts. And my life changed when I saw amateur boxing on Jones Intercable. So I said to myself, I could do this. I could do this, and I never let up. I never thought like this was just something I'm gonna do. It's like just for my free time. No, I said to myself, I'm gonna be big in this game. And now, I started walking to church so God can help me, and the rest is history. You know what I mean? So I killed God first because I knew that it made sense to me. It made sense to me that if I wanted to be big in the sport, then I gotta ask the man, the one that's gonna either bless me or not bless me, and that's gonna be God. And so that's what I started doing as a 12-year-old kid, and the rest is history. Very, very quickly, from 12 years old, it only took me 4 years to break history. 4 years to break history because at 16 I became the youngest national champion at 16 years of age in the open division. In the open division. So youngest national champion in boxing history, which my record can never be broken because they had they had to, change the age because kids were getting stopped. So at 16 years of age, you're fighting with men already up to 32 years of age. So people that don't know, what does that mean? Open division. That means that you're fighting. It doesn't matter if you have 10 fights or 300 fights, and you're fighting men from 16 up to all the way to kids from 16 all the way up to 32 years of age. And I was able to become the youngest national champion of boxing history at 16 years of age. And so, and nothing stopped me. You know what I mean? I kept God first, and that's why I became, number one from 120, 125, 32, 39, 47 for weight classes. Every time I moved up, I became number one because I stayed dedicated to my craft. Let me see if I can get Junior over here. Hold on, let me text him and tell him to get on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Got it, man. Only on the Fighter's Voice, man. We keep it real. Things pop up, things happen, and we wouldn't want it any other way. That's the champ, the two-time junior middleweight champion, Fernando Vargas, who's waiting for our other guest, which is Fernando Vargas Jr. He's opening up to reach out to him so we can find out what his ETA is estimated time of arrival for the show.
I just text him.
Okay.
And let's see if he gets on.
Okay.
But yeah, that's basically, in a nutshell, boxing saved my life. If it wasn't for boxing, hold on.
Okay.
I'm trying to. He has to accept me. You have to accept him. It says you have to accept him.
Oh, you got to accept him? Okay, there we go. Yeah, he's coming on. And real quick, Fernando, let me clarify that because I'm glad you did clarify that because the media portrayed you as growing up in the barrio every time they had a documentary or something. So I'm glad you clarified that for the viewers and the followers.
Yeah, no. I never grew up in the hood, but I went from the good, from the south of the side of Oxnard to the east side of Oxnard. Where the east side of Oxnard was the hood. One of the biggest gangs is Colonia Chiques. One of the biggest gangs in Oxnard is Colonia. So I went from the good area, but it doesn't. Like I said, I didn't grow up in the hood, but just because you don't grow up in the hood doesn't mean you can't find trouble. Yeah. And I found that. I found trouble right away.
Yeah.
There he is.
There we are. Practicing safekeeping. Hey, how you doing, Fernando Jr.? Fernando, can I just call you Junior?
You could call me. You call me whatever you want, man. Junior's cool.
Okay, or you know what? Pretty soon I'll be calling you son of a legend. How does that sound? Until you get that bout, and then it's your own destiny.
That works too. Look, we're Christmas shopping, but we gotta do this this voice call, this video call. I was excited. My dad told me about it, and we gotta do it. So what's up, man? How you been?
I'm doing good, man. Welcome to the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. We're just like your pop for knocking out the competition.
That's right.
First of all, congratulations, man, on your victory. I love the southpaw stance. I love the way you stood disciplined. After the knockdown, your instincts wanted to take over, and you wanted to get him out of there, but you kept your footwork underneath you, and you worked off the jab, man. I mean, it was quite impressive.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, brother. My dad wanted me a little more calm in there. I know that comes with experience. But I started boxing late, so I'm learning on the job. So a little bit with me controlling my nerves, the mixed emotions of me turning pro. I know I got.
He did amazing. He did amazing.
But I did good. I just I know a lot of people were talking about I looked very poisoned there, but there's a lot of things me being a perfectionist that I want to do better just on my next fight. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it though.
Absolutely, and just remember, Junior, it's a marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got one of the best teachers in the world in your corner, man. That can never be broken. That bond can never be broken, man, because he's always going to look out for your best interests. It doesn't matter what comes your way, to the left or to the right. You keep your eyes on the Lord and listen to your pops. It's a wrap. Sky's the limit.
That's it right there, for sure, brother.
Before you joined us right now, your father was talking to us because I've asked him why the sport of boxing, how he got started. And, he said it's something that he wanted to do after he watched a cable network of some amateur boxing. And he said to himself, hey, I can do this. And then he shared with us that dedication that he had at 12 years old from walking to the gym where he needed to work out and first lace the gloves on to where he is now. And like he said, the rest is history.
Yeah.
You know, Junior, when you grew up, and because you grew up in somewhat of the limelight, I remember watching you. Your father had that haircut where he left a little bit of hair up front, but he had you decked out too, man. The blonde in the front, everything. So is this something that you just naturally picked up as a youth, wanting to step into the ring and measure yourself with the craft of the sweet science?
Exactly, man. You know, it's just it's like second nature to me. I've always been around boxing. I've always been, you know, in different training camps with my dad. I remember being in Big Bear with him. I remember sorry about that. My brother keeps on calling me.
No problem.
I remember, Dad, text him all the time to quit calling me. I remember being in different camps like the Trinidad camp, De La Hoya camp. So just me being around the gym and me always being there, I never desired it for myself. You know what I mean? I knew that's what my dad did. And when we would get to, you know, the fight, just the way the fans would be, the way that the people would embrace my dad, it was something I'll never forget. And, you know, it wasn't until I was like 17 years old that I really asked myself, yo, like, what am I going to do with my life? You know, because I've always been an athlete. I've always played football. I've always played basketball. I've always been an athlete. But, you know, I knew if I was going to step into boxing, I'd have to give it my whole being. It's not basketball. It's not football. I mean, as you could tell with those, you know, YouTubers that try to come from basketball to come to boxing, we may be able to play basketball, but you can't come and play boxing. But, you know, I knew I had to take it serious, and my dad would just throw me in there for sparring. I just went in the gym, just kind of messing around, and I knew that I had a talent in this. So,
well, he was always athletic. I always made sure that I put my kids in football, and Junior was if Junior didn't score 4 touchdowns a game, it wasn't a game. You know what I mean? And I'm all the same way. It's just that, you know, that the athleticism that runs through the Vargas, you know, bloodline. You know, it's been I've been since I was a kid. Believe me, I might not have been so great in school, but I was in a PE. I was going to get an A+. So you know, that was for sure.
I heard that. Hey, I heard that. When it was time to dress out and you were in your own classroom, you didn't need any instruction. That DNA took over, bro, and you had that natural pedigree. Hey, Fernando, when you did play other sports, what number did you guys rock? Any particular number you guys wore? Junior or senior?
In football I would wear 43. I loved Troy Polamalu. He was a player that I really looked up to. Amado. He looked up to a lot to Reggie Bush. In basketball, I was number 13. That was just a number that they gave me, and I ran with it. So, but honestly, all the sports that we play, we've all honestly been like, you know, standouts in the sport. So, but like I said, boxing's a whole different beast because this is the loneliest sport in the world. And what I love about boxing is, you know, whether I'm going to the fitness gym to go run, whether I'm going to the boxing gym, it's all with my brothers. It's all with my dad. It's definitely brought our family closer together. And, you know, we're so competitive by nature. If I'm doing, you know, 6-7 rounds and I'm exploding the last 30 seconds, you know, my little brothers want to match me, you know, so it's just, it's a good thing to be able to do this sport with people that you love, you know, my flesh and blood.
I can't forget what brother was in the ring in Fresno. I believe he's named after your grandfather, the one who fought in Fresno.
Fresno.
No, we don't got nobody named after no grandmother.
Okay, no, because I remember I must have misunderstood you. You asked me about.
Oh yeah, you know what? My great, I never met him, but yeah, my great grandfather and Amado.
There you go. See, I knew I was right about something, Fernando. Yeah. But I remember when he was in the ring, I'm looking at the family, and I kid you not, the whole family was in the ring in some shape or form or another. I'll tell you that.
Believe it.
I saw it firsthand, and I'm thinking his opponent didn't have a chance because he's fighting 3 other people, man. I mean, it was a wrap. I mean, that's just the way it was. I mean, because from the cheering section to I seen you guys bobbing, moving, and you guys already knew what he was capable of. And then from the second round on, I mean, he just took over the fight. I mean, he started clowning. He started doing the Roy Jones, offsetting them. Rolling the shoulder roll.
Sounds like him. Yeah.
He definitely was having fun in there.
Yeah. And that's how it is. Honestly, every fight that we have, you know, I know the amateurs when we would be either at, you know, national tournaments or just a regular smoker, we wouldn't try to bring no nervous energies because we know that this is what we're made to do. And we would just reassure each other. Sometimes I like doing mitts with my dad. Sometimes I like doing mitts with Amado. Whatever gets us in our zone, but definitely hearing their voices. For my debut, my brothers made it out, you know, and that was for me something phenomenal because you're so used to, out of millions of people, or thousands of people, I'm sure my dad, you know, and he's told me this before, there's certain voices that you hear, like I know he would hear my mom and he would wink at her, you know, after a round, maybe let's just say, you know, the round they were going back and forth, and to reassure my mom, my dad will wink at her to just let her know like everything's okay. So definitely having my brother's voices in there before and during and after the fight, and as well as my father, it's just a plus, man.
Yeah, it looks like you know, iron sharpens iron, man, and definitely rubbing off on you. Fernando, let's talk about that in your heyday when you were in the ring. You were so focused, but you would hear certain voices, those that were close to you and those that you trusted. How was one able to do so when you're swapping punches with some high-profile champions, and yet you're able to just break it down like a professor and everything go in slow motion? That's the only thing I could imagine. Can you remember that?
Well, the thing is that, you know, I always heard my wife. It's like, yeah, but she was ringside, but I had other family members that were ringside too, and I wouldn't hear them. I would always hear my wife. So that was it was just like that. You know what I mean? That, you know, I just heard my wife all the time. It's like I knew that she was there, and you know, she after the round, I just wink at her and like, you know, hey, I got it. Don't worry about it, baby.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at you and your brothers, Junior, and you guys are not afraid to smile. You're not afraid of the camera. You've been blessed with good looks, the model profile. Sky's the limit. I mean, honestly, I could see some of you cats in the Disney Channel in Hollywood.
Can we show my dad real quick? I blame that guy. Hold on. Where's my dad at real quick? I blame that guy right there. They say, you guys look just like him. Or no, Junior, you look, no, Amado. No, it's Emmy.
No, China.
No, China. You know, hey, what can I say? You know, we're just fighters, but, you know, we do definitely look like my father. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and maybe both, but, hey, it works for us, right?
It does. It does. I mean, you're grabbing this opportunity, this success, and you're embracing it. And that's how you grow, because you're doing it and you're being yourself. Other people don't got to try. They got to be coached. Hey, make sure you smile at the camera. Make sure you address the press. But this is just a natural conversation. That's what it seems like for both you and your brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, my boys, you know, they've been groomed for this. You know what I mean? The whole life. You know what I mean? So the whole life, Junior was in the gym with me. Amado was in the gym with me. You know, Emmy not much, but
towards the end.
But he doesn't remember that much. But everybody's in the gym with me. So China knows how to throw her hands just in case. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we got to make sure that, just in case her daddy's not around or her brother's not around, she's gonna know. She's gonna know if some dude tries to disrespect her or touch her or whatever. She's gonna lay him out, because that's just the way it is. So
exactly.
It's a boxing family. You know, we're blessed to
hey, what's up, bro? Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you,
my kids. I'm blessed to do. You know, to see my kids, you know, excel in this game. And you know, I really, when people tell me, did you want your kids to fight? I said, no. And they go, you didn't want your kids to fight? I go, no. And they go, and my compadre, Frankie Cassavetes, said it best. He said, when I told him, well, I don't want them to fight. And then he goes, okay, champ, well, then listen to this. How are you going to tell your kids they can't be like your daddy?
Exactly.
And I was like, you're right. You know what I mean? So, you know, I love the sport. You know, I love my boys more than anything, and my family more than anything. So, you know, I'm gonna always make sure that I do the best for them. You know, and so at the end of the day, it's for them to get more reward than risk.
Yeah.
So then, and that's what I'm gonna do for them.
I mean, when you hear that, Junior, I mean, your dad's priest of the home. First one up, last one to go to bed. Making sure he doesn't sleep until everything's calm or until everything's taken care of, until he's at ease. I mean, that's his responsibility. You'll know this responsibility one day when your time comes. But as a man that has a family, it's the responsibility that he embraces, that he's been chosen to do. And at the end of the day, one day have to answer to the man upstairs on how well did you take care of your boys that I blessed you with. Because I know fathers that they've tried many times, and to be blessed with a son is to be blessed with a beautiful thing. No offense to any women out there, but women are beautiful and nurtured flowers. And they need to be treated as such. They need to be watered. They need to be complimented. And most of all, they need to be respected.
Definitely.
So I say that because I have a son. I have one that's in heaven, and then I have my
man, sorry to hear about that.
My daughter. Yeah. Well,
my condolences.
Thank you. That and I will say this since I brought it up. I dedicated my whole career to my son. We have a fighter's voice because of my son. After every interview, after everything, we do a thumbs up for Richie. That's a tribute to my son. So if you didn't know, now you know. But what I will say is, when I'm talking to your dad's peaceful and he's retired, but that fire is still in there, man.
Bro, let me tell you something, bro.
Junior, right off the bat, because the press made it sound like he grew up in the Vadio, walking through it, and he goes, hold on, check this out. First of all, I wasn't in the hood, and I'm like, okay. And then he still has.
I wasn't raised in the hood, but I walked to Colonia every day. So, but I'm not from the hood. I didn't grow up in the hood in Oxnard. I grew up in the south side of Oxnard, in College State, which was a Filipino community, which now is a Mexican community. But I grew up in the good part of Oxnard. But I didn't fight. I didn't have no problem fighting trouble. So me getting locked up, for batteries and thefts, that was one of the things that I would always fight. And so. When I found boxing, my life changed, and so my mom said that if I got in trouble at school, that I couldn't go boxing. Guess what? I wasn't gonna get in trouble at school no more. so I wasn't gonna get in fights no more at school. I'm not gonna say I was able to do it the whole time, but for the most part, I didn't get in fights no more because I wanted to go boxing, or else my mom would say you can't go boxing, and I wasn't gonna miss boxing because that was my life, and now it still is my life. Now it's my baby's lives, So I'm watching them, and I'm making sure that they go the right way, and sometimes I'm a little bit on them a little bit too much, but I never had a father. I can't tell you what it is to have that love of a father, so I can't tell you that I would get mad if my dad was like that, because I didn't have that, because I wasn't blessed with that. My dad was a drug addict, a murderer, but he was in and out of my life, mostly out of my life, and I only remember my dad coming in at 4 or 5 in the morning, wanted to see me, never lived with me, and he was all drunk or high and wanted to see me at 4 or 5 in the morning, and I was like, who's this dude? And they're like, oh, it's your dad. I'm like, what the hell? Why is he coming to see me right now 4 or 5 in the morning? Why does he see me during the daytime? You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that, that I remember, and I make sure that my kids they're never going to go without their father being in their life. Never. I'm never going to ever leave them. That's for punks, and that's for cowards that don't got balls. Exactly. And that's not me. And I can never be me. So, I talked their moms into having kids when we were young, and she promised me one thing. She said, okay, I'll give you a child, but you got to make sure that our family's always together. And because I don't want to raise my kids by myself, I don't want to raise our child by herself. And I made sure that with all the good and bad that I put that woman through, I was going to make sure that I was going to be there for my kids and for my family.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what? You came through, and you're still coming through. I wanted to, when I had Richie, when it was 3 months and 1 day, I outdid my dad because he left when I was 3 months old. I never called anybody dad in my life. I don't know what that means. But
Yep. Well, I call Garcia my dad, which is my trainer, so I call him Khetphet. But I understand you.
yeah. But you know what? That increased my love as a man for my son. You know, my ex-wife, when she wanted to have another child, I said no. I told Richie's mom no, because I can never love another son as much as I loved Richie. I can never love a daughter as much as I love Cassie. So it made me to the father that I am right now. So I will say this, Junior, when your dad you think is hard on you, he is willing to give up his last breath. Anything. I know he will. He wishes he had enough kidneys for everybody. Because when I was growing up and people needed kidneys, even in my family, I said I can't because I have 2 kids. If they need them, it's a wrap. If they need them at the same time, buy everybody without hesitation. So that's just one way of looking at it. When your time comes, you'll understand. But as far as Fernando, I mean, he embraced that responsibility. He's still running without responsibility today. Definitely. And that's why he's looking after you. I mean, in your career. I will add this, and then I got to ask you some questions, Junior. Yeah. No, I mean, Senior, when you were in the ring, I don't know if you felt that pressure or not, but you were our mouthpiece. You were our hero. You asked and displayed everything that we wanted to do. You were our voice piece. You were, and I'll say this, and I'm probably going to get a lot of text messages and email. You were the toughest Mexican fighter that I've ever seen in my life. Because you left everything. That's real shit right there. No, that is real. Because there's other ones with greats, and they've been blessed with different attributes. They've been definitely blessed with countries following them. They've been blessed with the gold medal. But as far as with these 2 hands, you got down 100%. Win, lose, or draw. You left every single thing in the ring, man. Exactly. And to now be able to say this as a professional to a professional, you are who you say you are, and you are the true definition of a real Mexican fighter.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Richard. You know, I did everything in my life to the fullest. You know what I mean? And so, you know, if I was in a fight, I was going to give up my last drop. You know, so and that's what I did. Each time I stepped into the ring, I made sure that I gave my all. And you know, I beat 5 world champions: Yoruba Campos, Raul Marquez, Buki White, Acuarte, Javier Casejo. And the 4 that beat me couldn't walk away saying it was easy. And in all those fights, I was in their ass, you know, to win the fight. So to try to win the fight. So you know, maybe it didn't go my way, but I was in their ass to win the fight at the end of the day. So you know, my kids, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, I take care of them. You know, my kids are my biggest championships, my biggest, the most proudest thing that I ever had in my life, my kids. So
sure, Dad. And let me add to that. I mean, you know, back in my dad's day, it was literally gladiator school, man. Like, you know, you're looking now, these champions, man. You know, there's no reason why Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, why are they not fighting? You know, you look at a champion like my father, like you said, win, lose, or draw, man. You can say whatever you want to say about him. You can say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, there's respect behind that name. 1, 2, he was a young kid, bro, younger than me. Yep. Fighting. I mean, Canelo didn't even do that. And let's be real. I mean, I love Canelo. I'm a big Canelo fan. I show my dad a lot of Canelo film, and I love his head movement, stuff like that. But let's be real. He vacated his title because he didn't want to fight Triple G when he was knocking everybody out. My dad fought a prime Trinidad, a prime De La Hoya. Hey, and like my dad said, they didn't go away saying it was easy. And, you know, at the end of the day, I feel a lot of fighters like, you know, my dad's time, you know, don't get the credit that they deserve, because it's like, you know, I know when he sees other world champions like Tommy Hearns, and, you know, a lot of the time the boxing world, yeah, they're so quick to applaud those wars. But at the end of the day, it's a sad thing when, you know, the boxing world, they forget about the fighter. They forget about the hard work that they did to put on great shows for fans. So for me, as me, my dad's son, I'm proud when I see, like yourself, people commenting on my dad. And, you know, I take it, you know, I could say I take it for granted at times because I'm always with my dad. So to me, of course, he's pops, he's my dad. But, you know, sometimes I can't even really understand and wrap the magnitude on how much of a global icon he really was, because he was big without social media. You know what I mean? you know, yeah, we have a little following. I got a little following on social media because of my father, and now that I'm turning professional, of course. But what I'm saying is like, dude, my dad was a big star before. I mean, it was MySpace, you know, like it wasn't even no Instagram and stuff like that. So like, yeah, man, you know, I feel a lot of, you know, the action-packed fighters weren't as talented as my dad either. You know, my dad was an Olympian, you know, like when they compare him to Arturo Gatti, rest in peace, Arturo Gatti. You know, I know he's a great friend of my father, but my dad had skill. My dad wasn't just like a fighter that just hit me and I'm gonna hit you. No, like you don't become the youngest Olympian by just throwing. You know, you gotta have skill behind it. So sometimes I try to do the same things he does, and I can't do it like him. But you know what? It's okay because I know my role. I'm a junior. I can never be my father. But the good thing is
you're gonna be better, son. You're gonna be better.
I will have his support and the love that I get from the fans because they love my father. You know, it's unbelievable.
It really is, and those are beautiful words, and those are sincere words, and that's why I love this platform, Fernando. Because on this platform, we're not just going to talk about your boxing ability and move on.
Yeah.
I like people to feel comfortable and open up and share with the viewers and the fans a different piece of you, a different offering, so to speak. And it's okay to speak the truth, and it's okay to speak the heart. And I will say this. I will add on to this. Your dad to neutralize Ike Cortez's jab was unheard of. Not too many people have a technical victory over Winky Wright. Winky Wright took people to school. He schooled
Yes, he did.
Your dad had the antidote. Your dad had the recipe. He had the blueprint.
Yes,
and a lot of people can have those, but they can't execute. Your father executed those game plans.
Definitely.
Winky Wright became a better fighter because of your dad.
Yes.
Plain and simple, period. But I'm going to be honest with you, Senior. When you fight Cortez, bro, I was biting my nails, man, because I mean, this guy is a cardio freak, man, and has that piston jab, and you were able to neutralize it and able to make him think twice. He didn't want to throw the jab anymore because he kept paying the price.
I out-jabbed the jabber. Because in the fight, I out-jabbed him. So how do you take away somebody's jab that's such a great jabber? You gotta neutralize them with your jab. You know, you gotta out-jab him. You gotta out-jab the jabber. And then when a jabber gets jabbed, they're not used to it. Because they're so used to being the one that's always landing the jab. But when you start tripling up the jab, you know, throwing it 4 or 5 times in a row, and you start landing it, you're like, what the hell? Why am I getting hit with jabs when I'm the jabber? So you take away that, you know, that strength, and then, you know, you win the fight that way.
And when somebody's been relying their whole career off the jab and they don't have a plan B, trying to say, see ya. I mean, they're just trying survival mode. Hey, gentlemen, I'm going to move on to these questions. Some questions,
go ahead, bro.
Both for senior and junior. This first one's from Eric Hernandez, who's a co-host to the Fighter's Voice in Stockton, which we got a new studio opening up in Stockton come January.
Okay.
It said, what prompted you, this for you, senior, what prompted you to move to Vegas? How has the gym been affected by the COVID? And any chance the boys will be co-trained someday by Robert or Pita down the line?
Look, I moved to Vegas. I was going to fight again. I was going to move to Vegas, but I have a one-on-one relationship with God, and I caught pneumonia. I never get sick, and I caught pneumonia. And, you know, I had to be hospitalized and knew that. And that's when I was training, getting ready to fight, come back. But I said, okay, God don't want me to fight again. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to fight. I'm going to continue to just have my gym open. And next you know, then my boys wanted to start fighting.
Yeah, my bad, bro.
Okay. This next question for you, Junior, is from Hector Madera from Stockton, California. He said, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Fernando Vargas Jr. and his father and Junior's pro debut. They both put a ton of hard work in. I want to ask Junior, how does it feel to meet everyone's expectations is one, and stopping your opponent, getting the guy out of there by knocking the guy down and making him quit, which is unreal, on the stool. How does it feel? What did you have to say to all the people tuning in?
That's awesome. Before I answer that question, Hector, that's my boy, Hector and Kilo. Hector and Kilo Madera, very good fighters. Those are my boys. Whenever they're out here in Vegas, we always have a good time. But you know, I honestly had a chip on my shoulder. I know I got a lot of praise from people you know, me making him put on his stool and stuff like that. But I wanted the knockout. You know, I wanted the knockout. You know, but like my dad said, hey, maybe God did that so you could train that much harder and you could come back your next fight and you could be sharper. You know, so you don't have no room to BS. You have no room. You know what I'm saying? To feel like, oh, like, you know, oh, I knocked this guy out of my first fight, this and that. So in a way, it put me in a position like, man, yeah, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but you know, those Mexican fighters, they're tough, they're durable. But hopefully, on my second fight, we get a better outcome. But it did feel good.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I mean, there was no guarantee he was trying to get up. It could have been that anointing poured all over you, man. And he couldn't walk and couldn't move, which probably saved him a concussion or two. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
That's right.
No, but no, you were wound up, man, and that straight left, that was beautiful. That came out the pocket, very beautiful, man. And I did hear the cheering section of your brothers there, and that's just that extra man in there. This next one is a comment from promoter manager, I call him super agent, Rick Marie. Okay. He said, Richard, if you can, let him know that I said hi. Let Fernando Vargas Sr. and Jr. let him know that I said hi, and congratulations to his son and their family, and that you have a very Merry Christmas and a very beautiful holiday and a great New Year.
Likewise, Rick. Thank you for your love and support, and we appreciate the support, and you know, thank you, and may you have blessed holidays with your family.
Yeah.
This next one is from a trainer at Soul City Boxing in Ohio, Rashawn Jones. It says from Soul City Boxing, what's next for them, and who does he want to fight? And what's your top 5 prospects that are out there? And who would they beat in the U.S. boxing today? What top people? Okay, let me rephrase that. When you were an amateur, what top prospect did you defeat before you turned pro? Did you share the ring with?
Well, I beat the number 2 dude from Utah. His name was John Jones, John Bryant. He's won like 16 national titles and stuff like that. I beat him at the last chance qualifiers. But you know, I even fought at 65. I fought Francis Hogan. But you know, my style's always been more pro. You know, my style's always been more pro. Like my dad kind of takes, you know, a couple rounds for him to figure you out, and he ended up stopping you in the third round, you know, as an amateur. So I do definitely have more of a pro style, but you know, we're not gonna sit here and call nobody out. I'm gonna let my dad and, you know, my team go ahead and, you know, guide me and wherever we gotta go. You know, the only thing I gotta worry about is making weight and just you know, fighting. So I'll let my dad worry about that and my team.
Now, in the pro division, what are some of the top 5 guys that are prospects that are out there? Some of the names that you watched, we're giving them a little bit of recognition, like, oh, this guy did good this year, or so forth. This guy did good this year.
I like Elvis. Elvis, he's Dominican. Elvis Rodriguez. I forget his last name.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's really good. Rodriguez, right?
Yeah, Freddie Roach is in the corner. Top right.
Yeah, I don't mean not to get his name right, but yeah, he's very good. Very good fighter. Southpaw. I like prospect.
The one
I want to say too much.
I'm a monster.
Oh, Berlanga. My dad likes Berlanga.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see him do a little more rounds, though, you know? I want to see him do more rounds. Hey, but you can't knock it, though. You know, everybody's like, oh, I want to see him do more rounds. Well, if you could get every knockout in the first round, shit, let's eat and let's get the check after. Like, you know what I mean? Let's be real.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
Berlanga is very good. Who else, Dad? Who else do you say? You know, I wouldn't call them prospects because they're world champions, but I say, you know, up and coming. I like Shakur Stevenson. Yeah. A lot of the fighters that I like right now, Benavidez. I'm a big fan of Benavidez.
Oh, yeah. David Benavidez, 168s.
Oh, my goodness. Benavidez throws punches and bunches, and I feel he's the real deal at 68.
Yeah.
Who do you like, Dad? Who do you like, Dad, right now?
I like the ones that you just said. You know what I mean? Benavidez. I like Benavidez.
My dad likes Terrence Crawford.
I like Terrence Crawford. Yeah, I like Terrence Crawford. I love the way he switches from Southpaw Orthodox. My son, Junior Emiliano, does the same thing. My son, my third son, and so, definitely, a lot of great fighters right now that that are out showing their skills.
Let me get a pretzel.
You know, what's his name? That just won he just beat Lomachenko.
Teofimo.
You're talking about
Teofimo Lopez.
Big Teofimo
that's
fan.
another, yeah, man, big.
Yeah.
No joke. You know, that's another dude. You know what I mean? So Teofimo,
Yeah,
no
Teo-
joke, and
nice.
young lion, young champion, and one that was young at that point in time, and understands exactly how he feels right now.
Exactly.
From where?
And just think to yourself, you paved the way for these young guys to say, hey, why not me? To believe.
Right.
Now, this one's from Hector Macho Camacho Jr., who shares with both being the son of a legend and also listening to his father, who Hector Camacho Sr. Was a legendary fighter.
Correct.
Hector Camacho, he says, for Junior, all I got to say is to create your own path.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in the comparisons. That's going to put more pressure on you. You have the skill set already. He says, be you. We both have fathers who were great, not easy to follow their greatness. And for Senior, he says, Tal Del Vato, my respect.
And who said that?
Hector
Camacho Jr.
Oh, okay.
He says, he knows the love is always there. He earned the respect of millions.
Yeah,
what does Junior and here's this. What does Junior possess that father didn't? If any.
Look, he possesses everything that I have. You know what I mean? And then doesn't he possess? I think he possesses everything.
I think just what I possess is just I'm southpaw. You know, you were southpaw.
Well, you know, I wasn't a southpaw, but something that he possesses that I didn't have. Oh, well, so he's a southpaw, and you know, when he was a baby, it was crazy because, you know, when he started eating, he started picking stuff up. He started picking stuff up with his left hand. I'm like, what's up with this dude? He's gonna be a southpaw.
Pseudo kid.
Pseudo kid. And so, you know, he started eating, and I go, what the hell is he eating? He's gonna be a southpaw. And he always had that power as a baby. You know, that when my friends would come over and go, Junior, ven pa acá, papi, and hit this guy in the hand, pégale en la mano, and then he was hit him with the left hook. They'd be like, what the hell? And then I know they were like thinking, oh, come on, what's this little kick in the head? And buddy went, boom! I'm like, what the hell? This kid is he gonna fight? Only if he wants to.
Well, they saw that commodity, which is a great attribute, being a southpaw.
Yeah.
Now, exactly. This next one's kind of deep, man. I mean, when I started reading this one is deep. This is for you, Senior. It's from Regis Prograis.
Oh, shit. Okay. I like him.
It says, how does he not fail? How does he not fall into the trap that all the rest of the great fighters fall in, as far as friends, encourage, problems, ego, thinking you are bigger than you are? How did you deal with this and keep your feet on the ground? Money to avoid going broke, how you did very well for yourself. And if he did, what are the biggest lessons for this is for Regis, for him, that you had in your friends? I mean, some of the biggest lessons that you're around your friends, that you learned from them because of your success, both good and bad. He said, and this is what Regis says. He says, my friends give me problems due to money. Did you have anything similar to that?
No,
man.
No, you know, I had a lot of people asking for money, and you know, the Bible says that the love for money is the root of all evil, and I never loved money. So, God continued to give me money to this day, and so I gave a lot of money away. You know what I mean? Because I never loved it. So, that's one of the things that I would tell my sons, that, you know, be careful with that, because, you know, everybody has a sad story. Everybody has a sad song, and they're gonna come. You know, people would come with, you know, obituaries on the newspaper that they needed help with their, you know, with the funeral costs, because you know, their parents passed away, and here I go, you know, taking care of them. But you know what? I tell my kids that, you know, understand this, that everybody has problems. Everybody, you know, you're gonna have a lot of people come up to you and ask you for money, and I would hope that you wouldn't do the same thing that I did, because a lot of those people just took advantage of me. So I think my sons, they know the good, the bad, the ugly, and so I think they're really groomed for this already. So they already know what's gonna happen and what's gonna happen when the time comes where these guys come around. These guys are gonna just soup them up. The guys that are just that are yes men, that are there just to try to see what they can get. See how they can benefit from them. And so I'm always gonna tell my kids the truth. I'm like, look, this guy's no good. So get him out of your circle.
And my dad already does that now. Like if there's a certain trainer or certain people trying to whisper in my ear certain stuff. One thing that they're not going to do is break the relationship between me and my father, because I know at the end of the day, my dad wants the best for me more than anybody in this world. My mother, my father, my brothers, that's it. Like my dad said, I was fortunate to have that. My dad didn't have that. But, I mean, my dad still tells me if there's a friend that he sees is kind of like, wanting to party more than anything. And, if it's not aligned to what I'm called to do, and that's to be eventually a world champion, then they shouldn't be in my circle. And my circle, like I said, is just my family. Do we have acquaintances? Do we have close friends? Sure. But, I'm glad that my dad went through this whole boxing, how should I say, just, this whole boxing world, so that when it's, now that it's my turn, he's going to tell me. He says, son, I'm going to tell you, if this guy's no good for you, if this girl is not good for you, whether you're mad at me or not, I'm going to tell you because you're my son. And, I'm glad that we have that relationship where we're able to do that, You know
what? I'm going to say this. This is kind of a comment. A lot of times, I'll hear from my daughter. Sometimes I don't. And I'm thinking, I say to myself, she doesn't want to hear from me because she knows I'm going to tell her the truth.
Yeah.
And until, a couple of days will go by and she'll say, Dad, I know, because you're always going to tell me the truth. And I said, why would I want to steer the love of my life, my breath of fresh air the wrong way? Why would you want that? I don't want you to feel the pain or make the mistakes that I made. I don't. I want to give you, I can't protect you from the world, but I just pray to God that I have the strength to be there when she falls. Because you could be, Junior, you can be a millionaire. You can have all the money in the world. Everything could be perfect. But nothing is going to prevent life lessons from occurring. Nothing is going to prevent tragedy. Nothing is going to prevent broken heart. Nothing is going to prevent falling in love. And when Cupid shoots you in the ass, he's undefeated. It doesn't matter where you are, but how to deal with it. That. And how to remember your goals during the time. And it's okay to be in love, but you got to remember your goals and what got you there. I say that as a father. And I say that because, sometimes my daughter, she'll avoid me. And I'm thinking because she knows I'm going to tell her the truth. I would not steer her any other way.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be a day or two, but she comes around, Senior, the kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I want to say this because I want to dive right into this, man. I've shared with all the talent that you have of your dad. And I had all this questionnaire for you, Junior. But you answered all these questions. Every time you would come in and talk about your dad, you show the fans, the viewers, and the followers exactly what type of man you are and what type of person you are. One, you got very great vocal skills. You handle interviews like a true professional. Like your dad said early on top of the show, you've been groomed for this. But let's talk about the hard work that we want to put in. Of course,
definitely.
I got to ask some of the tough questions. Of course, we're cheering. We're happy. Team Vargas got his first win. But your dad's going to tell you from here on, you got to continue to train and more, and most of all, train smart, because he can give you all the advice in the world, but at the end of the day, that man across from you, he wants what you want. He wants what you have already, and you have all the attributes. You have all the talent. And I want to ask you, what's your day like during a training camp? When you're in fight camp, what are your days like? Do you leave camp or do you stay at home? Or
during the training camp, I'm staying home. I moved out of the house, for my own reasons, But, when you're in camp, you want to have the confidence to show your coach, like, hey, I'm doing my part. I'm getting my full rest. I'm not BSing. I'm eating I'm eating all the foods that you want me to eat. So it's a two-way street. You can't just expect a fighter to give 1,000% and the coach to only give, only a little bit. I feel it should be halfway. So by me doing my part, I show him like, hey, and for this first camp, he didn't tell me like, son, I need you to stay home. I need you to come to the house. You know, I took it upon myself because I know what I'm tempted with. I know what I like, and what I like when I'm in a fight camp, I know that I can't be, you know, consumed with that at that moment. So, you know, even with friends, you know, my dad's like, you know, getting your rest is getting your full rest. You know, being out, you can't do that. It's gym home. And you know what, for me, man, I've just always, you know, my fuel has been to just compete and want to be the best. You know, I know my dad's fuel was to become the first champion out of Oxnard, to become, you know, somebody that, you know, because he never had a father, that's what fueled him. But for me, it's just, I come from a competitive standpoint. You know, we could be playing bingo, bro. I want to win. If it's basketball, if it's, you know, me and my brothers, we're just so competitive, you know, it drives me. I love winning. So, you know, I'm excited for this journey. We're gonna, you know, get it down, you know, down packed. However, my dad wants to run a certain camp, but you know, I felt good, you know, and I know that these fighters are gonna get better, bro. That, you know, with each and every fight, they're gonna come hungry. They're gonna come and be like, oh, okay, that was good, but this guy, you know, wasn't so good. They're always gonna have something to say about, you know, you could have a first round knockout like Berlanga is doing, and people are always gonna say something. So you know what, man, I'm not worried about the comments. The fans are gonna always have their opinion. You know, as long as, like I said, my circle, if they're happy with what I'm doing, then I know I'm on the right path.
Well, you're definitely on the right path when it comes to walking out inside of the ring. My man, I got to give a shout out to whoever designed your shorts and your shoes and your whole thing, man. Mad props, because you look good, you feel good, you are good, and it's just knowing that you're coming in with everything. With everything in there. And I'm sure as we're talking, our engineer KP is probably showing it on the screen right now, in which later on I'll send you the link. But your shorts are all decked out, man. The shoes, everything.
Thank you, man.
Talk to us about your designer and what made you put those colors together.
It's F4 Studios. It was just I've been liking his trunks. I've been liking like certain, you know, outfits that he's done for Broner. He's done like Keith Thurman stuff. He's done a lot of the, you know, top prospects coming up as well. So one moment. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, hey, no problem, man. Hey, we got to do live
so,
video, brother.
So for me, yeah, because I'm shopping, bro. I'm just getting this real quick. But yeah, for me, it was just like I already envisioned what I wanted. I know the colorway that I like, the black and gold, and yeah, you know, he kind of just started putting stuff together. It was kind of like hit or miss with certain things that I liked and didn't like. But I always want to definitely represent something, you know, with my heritage from Mexico, but kind of make it my own twist, you know, kind of make it how I like it. But definitely, I know my dad, every time he came in and did his trunks, I know that they were people loved them. So
no, they did, and they loved his ring walk. Well, I got a comment coming in right here that says, where can we get some? I believe you guys have some of your masks that are out there, that whole design. Yeah. Where can they pick those up? And Junior, do you have any shirts coming out available? Any hoodies coming out soon?
Search me on Venmo. I'm gonna be doing no merchandise. Search me on Venmo at Peros Fernando Vargas, Cash App, and you know, then you can buy the face masks for $35. It includes shipping and handling. And I got some hats that are coming and a bunch of new stuff. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, that's thank you.
Well, that's good. And that means that's telling everybody that you do got supporters and followers. Senior, I got to ask you this, man. I mean, you sit back. You're a student of the game. You're still learning. You continue to learn every day.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity, Senior, to share the ring with one of these young lions today, back in your heyday, the weight difference doesn't matter. But you know what you possess. You know what you can do. See, you're smiling right now because I know you see those fighters and you're going, you just don't know. You don't know what would have happened if we would have mixed it up. You don't know if I would have landed that 1-2 or I would have took you into deep waters. Who would you love to share the ring with today in your prime? Weight doesn't matter.
I'm an old man. I'm an old man. I look as a champion.
Vargas.
A champion, always wants to fight the champion. So
That's
I
right.
would have loved to fight. I would love to fight Canelo. I would love to fight Charles. I would have loved. I would have loved that, all that stuff. So
Anybody with a challenge, really.
anybody. Let's go.
Like my dad. Anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would have loved to fight anybody. You know what I mean? Because when you're a champion, you know that you feel that you're the best, and you want to go out there to fight the best.
Fernando, when you were appearing on this show, senior, and you got somebody all the way from New Orleans, and I believe in LA or Texas now, Regis Prograis, and he says he's been studying you, watching you. I mean,
That's
how does that make you feel knowing that, brother, you just don't touch the Mexicanos. You touch everybody of ethnicity, anybody out there. It doesn't matter what you are. People see you, Fernando, for who you are, as a badass fighter that brings and leaves everything in the ring. How does that make you feel?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It makes me feel amazing. Whenever I'm places, I got the brothers showing me love. I got Raza showing me love.
Yep.
I white people showing you love. So white people,
Fernando.
Fernando, you really made
We
it
love you, Fernando.
Yeah, you made it when white people know who you are. So that's the sport of boxing is a poor man's sport, but it's the best sport in the world, and it's the ultimate sport because it's a real man-on-man combat. Like what does a man say when you want to fight? Put up your dudes.
No, it's pretty loud.
Let's scrap. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's always about the respect of fighting. The respect that fighting gets you, because people are gonna know that there's always gonna be that dude that that knows how to fight and knows how to scrap. And so that was always me at school. And so when I started boxing, it was just my life would change, and I was a blessing to be part of this amazing sport still to this day with my babies.
They say, hey, Junior, your dad always looks mad, bro. He's like, I want to ask for an autograph, bro, but bro, he's always mad. I'm like, bro, that's just him. That's his face, bro. What do you want him to do? My dad says this. He says, look, you're not gonna. What do you say, Dad? You're like, I'd rather have them respect me because you're not gonna disrespect me. That's what's not gonna happen.
Because this ain't man. The senior man, you always look like you're mad.
You always look so mad.
I was gonna come up to you and ask for an autograph, but I didn't want to because I just thought you were mad. I go, I'm not mad, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing that you guys think that, because I'm not gonna have you come up to me and disrespect me and hey, what's up? I'm not gonna
tolerate that.
I'm not gonna tolerate no disrespect, because every man on the earth deserves respect. If I'm standing in front of you, I'm gonna respect you. The second you disrespect me, you're gonna just be disrespected to the hundredfold. So, because I give everybody respect. Every man deserves respect. I tell my kids the same thing. You respect every man to the second they disrespect you. The second they disrespect you, then it's
Vámonos.
Vámonos. You want to wake up the sleeping giant? You want to see Lucifer? Let's go. You know what I mean? So
did you say you want to see Lucifer? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Bro.
And I love God, but you want to see Lucifer in real life? Come on, try me, because
the old man is buried. Let's not revise him, man. Let's leave him
there. No, he's still very there, bro. He is still very there.
That fire's there. It's just a controlled flame. Trust me.
Yes, that's what it
never
is.
Go away. Fernando Vargas Sr. is going to be one of them old bad dudes. He's going to be gray when he's putting gas, and some young guy's not even going to know who he is, and he's just going to catch one. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something. I try to flex on my dad before my fights because the abs is looking good right now. I'm sorry, I'm eating some pretzels, but we just got done fighting, enjoying the holidays. But when I'm looking in fight shape, I lift up my shirt, I start flexing to my dad. He's like, "Fool, I'm 40 years old. I'll whoop your ass and your friend and your dad's friend's ass." He starts touching his stomach
all day, and I still got abs.
I saw it. There you go.
And I still got abs.
I'm telling you,
ain't nothing changed.
Ain't nothing changed.
Ain't nothing changed but the addresses, man, and the rent sometimes. Other than that, man, we are who we say we are. Okay, I'm gonna go real quick. Fernando Jr., what's your take on these YouTubers calling people out? A,
Oh my gosh.
Are they trying to make a living? B,
Bro,
is it a disrespect to the sport of boxing? And C, are they able to make it or break it? Which means, are they a fraud or are they real?
I feel it's a fraud. Honestly, I know what Eddie Hearn is trying to do. I know that these YouTubers, they got following. That's the only reason that they're able to lure in all these viewers and get all this Jake Paul. And it's just a circus act to me. I mean, you see Snoop Dogg commentating. You see, it looks like a halftime show. Then, I thought I'm looking at the Super Bowl. You see Pepsi commercials and it doesn't even give you the organic feel of boxing, But, hey, they got to make it different. We're in a pandemic, so I'm sure they're just trying to bring revenue, bring money in. And is it a disrespect to the sport of boxing to like fighters, that have done it ever since they were kids, like 6 to 8 years old? Sure, of course, because they just got a following and they just feel that they could just, step into, our sport and basically let it be like if it's something, like a Saturday, hooping session. Like you can't just go ahead and do that, bro. But for them to do that, I mean, they are drawing numbers and they are doing what they're doing. So I mean, you can't really get mad at it. They're still gonna be televised because they do have a following. But I'm not a fan of it, honestly.
Fernando, very well said, and thank you for sharing how you feel about that. A lot of fighters have kept to themselves. A lot of fighters, they're not, and they really let it fly. Fernando, I'm gonna say this. Letterman from HBO, he's been around every fighter in the world, every single fighter. For him to go out on a ledge and say that you were one, if not the favorite fighter,
I remember that.
His career. I mean,
I remember that.
Hey, there's no shame in a man crying. Jesus wept. But when he brought you up, I mean, crazy. He got caught in emotions. That didn't, a lot of people got to see that side of him, but he displayed it amongst the world. They talked about Ali, they talked about Mike Tyson, they talked about De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez, you name it. But when they mentioned Fernando Vargas,
I remember
the
that
man can barely speak because he said because of the passion that you have, what you stood for, and you were willing to die inside of that ring, and you always provided for the fans. How does that make you feel? I've always wanted to ask.
It's humbling. It's humbling. It's a blessing, when you're fighting there, when you're inside there, you really, at least my DNA is willing to give their life up if it's necessary. Because, I had my babies there fighting, seeing me there fight, and I would see them on my shoulders because, I have them tattooed on my arms. And so if a fight was getting tough, man, all I gotta do is look at my kids. I know who I'm doing it for. Look at my arm. I know who I'm doing it for, and that's for my babies. So, I look at my right arm and I see my kids there. I'm like, oh no, hell no, let's go. You know what I mean? So, it's a blessing to be loved like that by anybody. You know what I mean? He was he's a commentator, for him to express that, it's one of the best to ever do it. To express himself like that about me is really a blessing. You know what I mean? It shows that I made a positive, a positive feeling for somebody in their life that they'll be like, wow, there's nobody else but him like that. So it's really humbling for me as a man.
Exactly. Very, very well said. Now I got to ask you this, since you brought up tattoos, my man, where did you guys get that artwork from, man? You got some badasses over there. They got some sick skills. We got one in Fresno, Rico from Red Wave. But I'm looking at the artwork and all your boys. Let's give a shout out. Who does your work, man?
He can't mess with my compita intro. Tell him that. Tell him, Pops.
Intro, the one intro. He tattoos the whole family. He's he's such an amazing tattoo artist here in Los Vargas, Nevada, and he's part of the family. He's a real good dude. He's also a Christian man, so
yes,
we love God, and that's why he's blessed too.
Amen.
Yeah.
I remember when I interviewed you. I want to say it's LA. I forgot where Mikey Garcia's promotion was at. And I interviewed you real quick, and I said, you know, it's all about beans, rice, and Jesus Christ. And you chuckled, but you stood humble. And I said, when you walk in here, and listen to this, Junior, I'm doing the event, I'm ring announcing there. Your dad walks in, it's like the Red Sea, like it just parted. It's like, and no disrespect to all the other fighters that were there, but it was just a little different when your dad showed up. And I asked him about that. And he said something about, you know, all these beautiful people that are here, and it was a great event. And you were just very humbled about that. Remember that interview, Fernando?
Yeah, absolutely. You asked me, what do you feel about everybody, you know, wanting to talk to you and take pictures of you and touch you and coach? And I said, it's everything that I prayed for as a kid, as a 12-year-old kid. Like I said, my relationship with God started when I was 12 years old. I wanted God to make me who I am today. I asked God to make me a superstar in boxing. Yeah. I was an HBO fighter. I was an Olympian. I was the youngest junior middleweight champion in boxing history. Every time that I asked God to help me, He did. So, and to this day, He still works in my life, and I'm still, you know, a faithful server of the Lord, and so servant of the Lord. And so, you know, when it's just amazing for me. It's just amazing for me when the people go crazy, because it's to this day I blow a kiss to God, like I told you, to heaven, because it's God's blessing that I said, God, I've been retired for years. And my people, and whenever I go into a boxing event, the fans go crazy, and it's such a blessing for me because it humbles me. When I didn't have love for my dad, I didn't have a father. But I didn't have a father on earth, but I had a father in heaven, and the Father in heaven made sure that all the people loved me like I was so loved. You know, when I was a kid, I was already locked up in juvenile hall. My mom said, "You're gonna be just like your father," and I was already going those steps. So then, to be loved by the people that way, to me, is like, wow, thank you, God. And then I blow a kiss to God because it's answered prayer.
Amen, brother. Well, Fernando, 3 questions that come in this way. And one says, he asked a question. He goes, no, never mind, because don't give him my name. He was afraid to ask that. This is one of the biggest questions that people want to ask. And from there, I'm going to go on to a certain interview that you had. One is, how long did it take? How long did it take for you and Oscar De La Hoya to mend that relationship? And number 2, are you open to a friendly exhibition with Oscar De La Hoya to give the viewers and the fans, the followers, for a good cause? It has to be the right cause. Are you open to sharing the ring once again?
Absolutely. You know, we're cool now. Me and Oscar, we had our beef when I was a kid. When, you know, I was up there training with him. I ran. We're running. Me and Robert Garcia were running in the snow one day, and you know he was there too, but we ran ahead of him. And I tripped and fell. Mud came all over my face, and I understand it was funny, but to me it made me have a grudge when he did that, because you know I expected more from him. You know, I understand it was funny, but you know, at least help me up. But he just ran by, and so it was something that I had a beef with him for, and so whenever it would be. Because I was an Olympian from Southern California. I was like, Oscar De La Hoya, the next Oscar De La Hoya. I go, nah, I'm the first Fernando Vargas. And so I started having a dislike for him because of what I went through with him. And so the situation that happened. But at the end of the day, he apologized. You know, we met up. We're good. We're friends now. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he apologized. And at the end of the day, that's when somebody apologizes, hey, you gotta forgive him, and I forgave him, because I know if I don't forgive, God won't forgive me for my sins. So you know, I would love to do an exhibition with him. You know, I talked to him about it. We've talked before, but we'll see what happens if he's willing to do it. Why not?
You're hearing this, and you know darn well you got to be in that corner if this exhibition takes place. I can see all the brothers in the corner there. How would it be to see your dad back in the ring, even if it's an exhibition, man, to know that he's gonna pick out some shorts, he's gonna pick out a robe, he's gonna pick out a walkout song, he's gonna put the Vaseline on, and he's gonna get his hands wrapped, put his mouthpiece in, and you're gonna hear that bell, and you get to see your dad one more time inside of the ring. How does that make you feel?
Let me tell you something. As long as I'm on this side,
as far as we're looking at the other opponent, I'm happy. If it were to be the other way around, then I'd be fearing for my life. But you know what? That would be something great to happen. I know, the Tyson and Jones, they did their thing, but a lot of people have been asking about my dad and Oscar. So I mean, I don't know. I know the fans would want to see it. Definitely, it was definitely a hell of a fight. I know a lot of people have my dad almost knocking him out. What was it, the first, second round? Yeah. So hey, it's boxing, and I feel fights like that bring excitement will be something good for the sport of boxing for sure.
I will say this, and a lot that Oscar don't get credit for. Oscar has a good chin because
big time.
Your dad landed some what I like to call the go home punch. Your dad landed fire early
for sure. He has some good whiskers on him.
Understand that? Yes, he does. He doesn't get credit for that.
No, he doesn't.
My dad told me he was really quick. Like he would make sure after he throw a jab that he would have to just move after, be ready to counter him because he was that quick. So
yeah, if you threw a jab downstairs to his body and you didn't put your right hand in front of you to catch the right hand, he was gonna make you pay for that. He's just very quick and very talented. One of the best fighters I ever fought.
One of the best fighters, Mexican fighters, period, for sure.
Yeah.
Fernando, to say that shows class. That shows exactly who you are. That shows character. And for your son to hear that, to know that you don't ask him to do anything that you're not willing to do. You're one hell of a role model. And even when it comes to training, and just know this already, Junior, I'm sure many people have told you that, but I just feel like I need to tell you, your dad's not willing to ask. When your dad's willing to ask you, he went through it. He's not willing to ask you to do something that he's never done.
Yeah, definitely.
Except exactly. For you go through the trenches. He just got to get you prepared for those days.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to tell me to do something that doesn't make sense in boxing either. I know there's a lot of trainers that, they do rigorous training for no reason. They make you run like 12 miles. Like, why are you running 12 miles when you're going to spar? You're leaving everything on the miles. So, look, everybody has their own tactics and how to get ready for a fight. I just know whatever makes sense. My dad always tells me, 3 to 5. If you have weight issues, maybe a little more than 5, but you shouldn't run any more than 5, 6 max, My dad always makes fun of me because I go, Dad, I'm going to need to get some strength and conditioning. He goes, strength and conditioning, He makes fun of me because he says it like that because it's like he swears I got to reinvent the wheel. He's like, you swear you got to get this strength and conditioning and do all this, get this trainer. He's like, just stay your ass put. Just fucking run. Go fucking train in the boxing gym and that's it.
There you go. That's old school. It's nothing needs to be changed. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I will say this.
He may know a thing or two. He may know a thing or two, I think.
Maybe 1 or 2.
And then some. I look at your brothers and Fernando, I look at your boys and oh my gosh. I mean, one, I want to call him. I don't want to name him after another fighter, but I almost call him the Mexican Roy Jones, which I'm not going to do. This kid has just, and I see your boys. Everybody has gotten a certain talent. It's like, here's Fernando, here's senior, and it's like you guys tore a piece off here, a piece off here, and a piece off here, and ran with it. You guys have all your dad's DNA in you, but there's certain things you grab from your dad and just put a little twist on it.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, I really believe that. All of them are great fighters. They work hard, and I know that they'll be superstars in the sport. You know what I mean? But they gotta want it more than anybody, because at the end of the day, it's not me in there, it's them in there.
Exactly.
And I'm always gonna be there to support them 110%.
I will say this: after boxing, they're entrepreneurs. Because when the Tyson fight came on, I want Fernando Jr. to hear this. When the Tyson fight came on, you guys were getting your hustle. I mean, you follow me. Let's contribute to the fight. At the end of the day, saying that's good business right there. I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You guys were out there getting your hustle on. I saw your dad pass by, and I was like, oh, get on down, man. I mean, they could just sit back, but they were making it happen.
Hey, once my dad hears any song from the 2001 album, let me tell you, he goes back to memory lane and he starts. Kids don't dance, they boogie, bro. I'm telling you, my dad got a good little 2-step, bro.
Oh, does he?
But definitely, yeah. I don't know if you saw that the Tyson Jones fight, but yeah, my dad was dancing definitely. He liked the halftime show from Snoop Dogg.
Hey, that's okay, man. Listen, I know you want to do some shopping. I know you want to get your dad probably a big old bottle of cologne or something, or some Versace or something like the rest.
Right.
Like the rest of your brothers are wearing. And Fernando, I want to thank you, Senior, for taking the time. It's been long waiting. And I got to ask you questions that I've always wanted to ask you when I would sit back and watch you, and I was able to, and you embrace those questions and you answered them. And just to know that I was able to, a lot of people say share the ring with a certain fighter. I've had a lot of people on my list as far as who I interviewed, and I just want to let you know you were definitely on my bucket list. So
Wow.
I can cross that out tonight, brother.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it, and I'm glad to be on with my bloodline, my life, my baby, Junior, and then you got Amado coming up turning pro this next year, and then we got El General for the 2024 Olympics. So
how you say it, Pops? How you say it?
Hay Vargas para rato,
Para
cabrones.
rato, cabrones.
All right, so my DNA is just too strong. It's so athletic. It's like when I was a kid, I was so good at sports, but I'm like, I didn't see somebody that I could look up to because my dad wasn't there. So I was so good at sports. I was so good at football, so good at basketball and all that stuff. I'm like, man, this sports stuff is easy for me. And so when I found boxing, my life changed. I said, oh no, this is what I'm gonna do for life. And so now that my babies are doing it, it's a blessing because they have the same athleticism as their father. And that's just that DNA, that Vargas bloodline, but we got to have to understand that it has vices too of drug abuse, of alcoholism. So I have to be very careful with that. So, I tell my babies that, the bloodline is so athletic, but it has this generational curses of drug abuse, of alcoholism, of lust. And so we have to be very careful, son. And we have to be praying every day to try not to fall, victim of all those vices.
Well, we take power and authority over those curses, and we break them in
the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen, brother.
That's right. That's right.
The two or more are gathered, man. It's a
wrap.
It's a wrap because the Lord's no respecter of persons. What he did for Moses, he can do for us. What he did for the blind, healing them to see, he can do for us. So I truly believe that. I do know there is a higher power, and every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. And if you get on the knees and you got some bling in you, so be it. You will bow down and you will know Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior.
Amen. Amen.
For that. And I'm going to leave it on that note right there, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Fernando Vargas Sr. for coming on The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. I want to thank Fernando Vargas Jr., who is the new face of boxing, the future.
Thank you for having us, man.
Along with his brothers. I got to get your brothers on. I got to get the rest of your sons on. Hey, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. It's a wrap. I'm Richard Ortiz. Thumbs up for Richie.
Say hasta luego, babies.
Take care, bro.
And always, thanks for listening.
Later, gentlemen. Have a good night.
Hey, do me a favor.